Welcome to Lost Relation Chronicles. I guess I should introduce myself. My name's Matthew, 32 years old, and Emily, my wife, is 31. To pretty much everyone who knew us, we were that couple, college sweethearts together for 4 years, married for 3, everything. Looked perfectly planned careers, set a future mapped out, the kind of life people post about and pretend is effortless. I'm a software developer, and Emily worked well, used to work in marketing. We had one of those picture-perfect houses in a suburban neighborhood where every lawn is manicured and every neighbor pretends their life is different from the next. Classic white picket fence, 2 rescue dogs, Butcher and Hunter. Because of course we're those people. A garden? Emily swore she'd take care of, never did, and a pricey Peloton bike that quickly became a glorified coat rack. We were living the so-called dream. Emily and I met at some random frat party back in college. I was the awkward computer science guy with zero game, and she was this confident, stunning marketing major who seemed like she existed on another planet somehow. I found the nerve, probably thanks to a few drinks, to crack a terrible joke about Java and coffee, total nerd stuff, but instead of cringing, she laughed still. Not sure if it was out of pity or genuine amusement, but it worked. We clicked hard. She seemed into all my nerdy interests, though. As I found out later, most of that was an act. Still, it didn't matter. We had chemistry. We binge-watched entire TV seasons in a weekend, like it was a competitive sport. The Office was our thing. One Halloween, we even dressed up as Homer and Marge. Yeah, I know, cringe, but that was us. I poured a lot into the relationship. I was the kind of guy who remembered everything. Not just anniversaries, but silly little details, like our first pizza date, or the first time we bought groceries together. I planned over-the-top date nights, left surprise gifts for no reason, and once spent 6 hours learning to make her favorite pasta dish from scratch, just to get it exactly right. The first 2 years of marriage, honestly, great Sundays meant cooking together. Well, me cooking and her supervising while sipping coffee and scrolling through her phone. But that was our thing. Weekends were for hiking with the dogs or throwing game nights with friends. We were the couple with the obnoxiously sweet Instagram captions like, "Living my best life with my person." Usually her posts. But I didn't mind playing along. Our friends used to joke that we were couple goals, the kind of pair that made single people roll their eyes and fake gag. I even got along great with her family. At least in the beginning. Her dad and I would watch football together, even though I couldn't care less about sports. But hey, you do what you have to do. Her mom would constantly try to feed me these incredible Italian dishes, because she said I was too skinny. Her brother, he became one of my regular gaming buddies. We had a standing Call of Duty night. Every Thursday. My family adored her too. I mean, really adored her. My mom used to say she finally had the daughter she always wanted. Sorry, Jenny. Guess being my actual sister wasn't enough. Even my brother Ryan and Emily got along great. We had all these plans, talking about kids in a couple of years, looking at homes in better school districts. We even opened a savings account for a down payment. Emily already had names picked out for our future kids, sons plural. Honestly, thank God that never happened. We were doing everything by the book, hitting all the milestones, like we were checking off society's perfect relationship checklist. I still remember this one night, maybe 6 months before everything fell apart. We were sitting out in the backyard talking about our future, growing old together, traveling when we retired, all that sweet, naive stuff you believe before life winds up and decks you in the face. If I could go back and warn that version of myself, I would. But that was the calm before the storm. Looking back now, I realize there were probably tons of red flags. But that's how it always goes. Right when you're wearing rose-tinted glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. I read that on Reddit once. And damn, if it doesn't hit the mark. It all started unraveling around year 3 of our marriage. At first it was small. Stuff subtle, the kind of things you notice but brush off, because you don't want to believe anything's wrong. Emily started staying late at work a lot, and I'm not talking about occasional late nights during crunch time. I mean coming home at 10 p.m. reeking of cologne that definitely wasn't mine. But like an idiot, I believed her stories about client dinners and team-building events. I should have caught on when she started dressing up way more for work events than she ever did for our dates. And those dates, they became a joke. We had this rule: Fridays were our day. No phones, no work. Just the two of us being present. But suddenly she was always too tired, or spending the whole night glued to her phone while I sat there pretending everything was fine. I remember this one night I'd spent 3 hours cooking a fancy steak dinner, candles, the whole deal. When it was finally ready, she barely looked up from her phone when I called her out on it. She got all defensive. Oh my God, can I check my work emails? Some of us have important jobs, right? Because apparently being a software developer at a Fortune 500 company meant I just played Minecraft all day. Remember those little things we used to do, the dumb memes we'd send each other all day long, the inside jokes, the TikTok dances she somehow always got me to do? Yeah, all gone. She stopped asking about my day, stopped caring if I'd eaten, stopped doing, well, pretty much anything that showed she actually gave a damn about me. Even the dogs noticed Butcher and Hunter used to be her babies. She was the one who insisted we adopt them, but suddenly she couldn't be bothered. I'm too tired. You do it. They're your dogs, too. They'd just sit by the door looking disappointed every time she walked in, like even they could sense something was wrong. The weirdest part, she still seemed super into family stuff, too. Into it, always asking when we were going to visit my parents. Always excited to hang out with my brother Ryan. Still played the perfect daughter-in-law in front of my mom. Meanwhile, my sister Jenny kept giving me these looks like she wanted to say something but couldn't bring herself to. I should have asked. I really should have. But honestly, by that point, I didn't want to know the truth. I tried talking to Emily about it. I really did, multiple times. But every conversation went the same way. One night I sat across from her. This heavy feeling just sitting in my chest. I feel like we're drifting apart. I said, voice soft but shaking a little under the weight of it. She didn't even look up. Rolled her eyes and said, "Oh my God, you're so needy. I'm just busy with work." Like I was asking her to give up her job or something. I swallowed hard, trying to keep it together. "I miss spending time with you," I said, quieter this time, but just as honest. "Ike," she sighed like I'd asked her to move mountains. "Not everything is about you, Matt. I'm stressed." "Okay." I took a breath, tried to stay calm. "Maybe we could try couples therapy, just two." She cut me off before I could finish. "We don't need therapy." "What?" "You need us to stop being so insecure." Then she just went back to scrolling like nothing happened. And I just sat there staring at someone who clearly didn't care anymore. Looking back, it was classic gaslighting. But when you're in it, you don't see it that way. You start believing it. You start thinking, maybe you're the problem. Maybe you are being too needy. I started going to therapy on my own, which ironically ended up helping me a lot when everything finally blew up. What messed with my head the most was how she kept posting these picture-perfect couple shots on Instagram. You know, the type look at us. So in love, living our best life, she'd make me take 50 photos just to get the perfect candid smiling, like we were still madly in love. And then she'd go right back to ignoring me online. We looked like the dream team in real life. We were crumbling. Classic millennial marriage problems, I guess. Then there were all the little things, those red flags that start piling up until you can't pretend not to see them anymore. She started taking phone calls. In another room, changed her phone passcode. Stopped throwing her clothes in with mine for laundry after years of doing it together out of nowhere. She joined this exclusive gym across town, even though there was a perfectly good one. Just 5 minutes from our place, it was like ticking off the cheater checklist one by one, the same kind of list you read online and think, nah, not us. My friends tried to warn me. My buddy Mike, who'd already been through his own divorce nightmare, kept saying, "Bro, something's not right. You deserve better than this." But I defended her, made excuses. "She's just stressed. It'll be better once this big project's done." Hell, I even pulled out the old win her back playbook, surprise date nights, random flowers, trying out her hobbies just to connect. But you can't win back someone who's already checked out. She'd just get irritated like I was some inconvenience in the way of her new life. The final straw. It was a Sunday. I was doing laundry. Yeah, still doing her laundry like a fool. And I found a receipt in her jeans pocket. Fancy Italian place, downtown, you know, the kind where the pasta costs more than my Netflix subscription, the weird part. The receipt was from Tuesday. She told me she had an important client meeting at the office that day. Normally, I wouldn't snoop. I trusted her stupidly, but something about that receipt just didn't sit right, especially since she kept talking about all these new clients. But whenever I asked to meet any of them over dinner, it was always not appropriate. So, yeah, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our shared Google timeline, you know, that creepy feature that tracks everywhere. And wow, there were a lot of client meetings at hotels, at random restaurants, at parks, basically everywhere, except her office. I spent 3 hours digging through her location history. Not exactly how I thought I'd spend my Sunday, but the pattern was crystal clear. Every time she said she had a work event or late night at the office, she was somewhere else. I still didn't know who she was with, but I knew for damn sure it wasn't work. Then I found the burner phone. I wasn't even looking for it, just pulling her gym bag out to do laundry when this old iPhone tumbled out. One of those outdated models people usually keep as backups. Except this one had a passcode. Later I casually asked her about it. "Hey, I found this old phone in your gym bag. Is it broken or something?" At first she barely looked, but then her eyes went wide. In an instant she lunged across the room and snatched it from my hands like I was holding state secrets. "It's private," she snapped, clutching it to her chest. Her whole body stiffened like she was protecting something sacred. I blinked. "Private. It's just an old phone." Her voice rose. "Why are you going through my stuff?" She was breathing hard, eyes wild. "This is why I can't trust you." And there it was. Classic Darvo deny attack, reverse victim and offender. Suddenly I was the villain for finding her secret phone. But karma is funny sometimes. In her panic to grab the burner, she dropped her regular phone. It landed face up on the couch, right as a text came in from a contact saved as work project. The message, "I miss you, baby." Subtle, I didn't confront her, not right away. Instead, I watched over the next few days. I saw it all with new eyes. She'd get messages and smile like a giddy teenager, then look around to make sure I wasn't watching. She took calls in other rooms whispering, even though she swore they were just work calls. Once I caught her laughing on the phone saying, "Stop, you're terrible," before she noticed me watching and hung up like she'd been caught red-handed. That's when I checked our joint credit card statement, hotel charges on nights. She told me she was at client dinners, and not even fancy hotels, just cheap off the highway, holiday and express-type places. That was at the last straw. I couldn't keep living in this twisted game, constantly searching for proof while gaslighting myself into staying. She had already mentally checked out. I was just the last one to admit it. So I packed her stuff while she was at work, didn't even fold it, just dumped it all into trash bags, because yeah, I was feeling petty. Left them in the garage, changed the locks. Then I texted her. I found the burner phone. I saw the hotel charges. "Don't come home, we're done." And that's when the flood of texts started. First denial. "What are you talking about? You're crazy. Let me explain." Then blame shifting. This is why I had to look elsewhere. If you actually paid attention to me, then came the threats. "I'm going to tell everyone you abused me. You'll regret this. My lawyer's going to destroy you," and finally tears. She showed up at the house crying, pounding on the door, screaming that I was overreacting and that she could explain everything. Meanwhile, I sat on the couch with the dogs watching the whole meltdown play out on the Ring camera, like it was a bonus episode of Real Housewives Suburbs Edition. The days that followed were chaos. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, not just from her, but from everyone we knew. Apparently, she had already launched a full-blown PR campaign behind my back, spinning her version of the story to anyone who would listen. According to her, I was some controlling psycho who overreacted and threw our marriage away over nothing. And people were buying it. My phone was blowing up, not just from her, but from my family too. Looking back, their reactions were off, way too calm, way too rehearsed. My mom kept repeating stuff like, "Marriage takes work," and everyone, Makes mistakes. Even my sister Jenny was acting weird, nervous, like she was walking on eggshells. Then Sarah showed up. Quick background. Sarah was Emily's ride or die best friend from college, maid of honor at our wedding girls' night. Every week, knew all her secrets. We were never close, just exchanged polite hellos when she came over, so it's 11 bound p. I'm in my pajamas on the couch, watching Breaking Bad, because what better show to wallow in misery with? And the doorbell rings. I check the ring cam, already bracing for more drama, half expecting it to be Emily back to cry on the porch again, but it's Sarah. She's clearly drunk. Eyes red, makeup smeared, shaking. I sigh and open the door. You okay, Sarah? She's already sobbing. Wiping her face with trembling hands. I can't. Her voice cracks. I can't keep lying. I freeze. She's horrible. She says through tears, you're good and she's horrible. She exhales, shoulders slumped, and then barely above a whisper says, she's been cheating on you for months. I knew, and I didn't say anything, even though I'd suspected it for weeks. Hearing the words out loud hit me like a punch to the chest, with who I asked, my voice steadier than my hands. Sarah squeezed her eyes shut, shaking her head. I can't, Sarah. Who? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her whole body was trembling now. It's worse than you think, she whispered. You're going to hate everyone when you find out. A chill crept down my spine. My brain started filling in blanks. I didn't want filled, making connections I wasn't ready for, but it was too late to turn back. Now we ended up talking for hours, not just about Emily, but about everything. Love, heartbreak, the slow, painful truth that sometimes things are over long before you're willing to admit it. For the first time, I saw Sarah not as Emily's best friend, but as herself, the way her dark eyes softened when she spoke, the nervous habit of tucking her hair behind her ear. There was a kind of quiet, effortless warmth to her, something I hadn't felt in a long time. You deserve better, she whispered. I let out a dry laugh. Funny, you never seemed to think that before. She didn't argue, she just looked at me. Really looked at me, and for the first time in years I felt seen. One thing led to another. Yeah, we kissed, but it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about Emily. It was a spark, in the middle of all the numbness. Something human, something real. The next morning was awkward. Sarah was mortified she'd said so much, and I worried I'd crossed a line, that I'd taken advantage of her being drunk, even though she kissed me first. We agreed to keep it quiet, at least until the divorce was finalized, but that kiss, it shifted something inside me. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was hopeful. Like maybe all this chaos was steering me toward something better. The next few weeks were surreal. Sarah and I were navigating this low-key late-night connection, sending secret texts, sneaking in conversations between the madness. Meanwhile, Emily was still trying to reach me. Constant calls, desperate texts, promises to explain everything. And my family. They were acting stranger by the day, picking sides. But the sides made no sense. People I expected to have my back were suddenly defending her, while distant acquaintances were sliding into my inbox with, "Hey, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry, you didn't deserve that." I decided to lawyer up, found this guy Ron Jeremy in our first meeting. I laid everything out, the burner phone, the hotel receipts, the GPS timeline that didn't match her stories. Ron just listened, taking notes calmly. Then he looked up and said, "There's more to this than you know, but we're going to play it smart." He told me not to confront anyone else, yet. No dramatic reveals, no shouting matches, just gather evidence, stay quiet, let the truth come out in court. Meanwhile, Sarah and I kept our distance physically out of respect for the situation, but emotionally, we were texting for hours at 3:03 EI. Trading memes, sending each other music, just being there. It wasn't just an escape anymore. It was something to look forward to, something real. It was nice. Just nice after everything. The quiet moments with Sarah, the late-night chats, the shared memes, the random thinking of you, texts, they gave me peace. Meanwhile, Emily was trying everything to get back into my life. She showed up at my office. Security had to escort her out. She sent mutual friends to guilt-trip me into talking to her. She even tried playing the dog card, Suddenly she missed them so much even though she'd ignored them for months. But the weirdest part? My family, my mom kept inviting me to dinner. But every time I asked who else would be there, she got my brother. Ryan stopped gaming with me entirely, yet I saw pictures of family gatherings I hadn't even been invited to. Jenny, my sister, was completely avoiding me. Radio silence. Then the day before the court hearing, everything blew up. My lawyer Ron called. To go over final prep mid-con conversation, he dropped a bomb: just be prepared for anything tomorrow. And when I say anything, I mean anything. I pressed him for details, but he just said, "Trust me, you'll want to be sitting down when this all comes out." After that call, my phone would not stop. My mom sent this cryptic text: "I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive. Forgive what Jenny tried calling 6 times, but every time I picked up, she'd hang up." Even my buddy Mike, who I hadn't heard from in weeks, texted me at 2 a.m. "You good, bro?" And then there was Sarah. We've been talking non-stop for weeks. Nothing romantic. Just open, honest connection. Then suddenly silence. Her last message: "I'm so sorry they're going to hate me tomorrow, but please remember, I wanted to tell you." Then nothing that night. I stress, cleaned my apartment like a man possessed. The dogs looked at me like, "Dude, relax." But they never left my side. Eventually we all passed out on the couch watching Kitchen Nightmares. There's something oddly comforting about Gordon Ramsay yelling at people at 3 a.m. Then it happened. An email from Emily, subject line: "Please read before tomorrow." I opened it, closed it, archived it faster than she could say. It's not what it looks like. Still, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. But the real bomb dropped just after that. A text from my brother Ryan: "Hey bro, don't go to court tomorrow. We can work this out without making a mess. I'll explain everything later." I didn't sleep not 1 minute. I just sat on the couch, scrolling through old photos like an idiot. One of them was from last Christmas. Me, Emily, my whole family smiling like we didn't have a care in the world, like none of it was crumbling beneath the surface. It's wild how fast life can flip. Just a few months ago, everything felt stable. Now, total chaos. Ron texted me around 6 p.m. "Andre, go with the Navy suit, successful, but not like you're trying too hard. And whatever happens in there, don't lose your cool. Leave it to me." Solid advice. Even if my stomach was already in knots, I got to the courthouse early because nothing wakes you up like a healthy dose of anxiety. Sat in my car for an hour just watching people come and go. I kept wondering how many other lives were falling apart behind those walls. Then I saw Sarah. She looked wrecked, like she hadn't slept either. We locked eyes for a second. She just shook her head and walked inside. That's when the nausea kicked in next. My parents showed up together, looking completely on edge. My mom tried to wave at me, but my dad stopped her. They both hurried inside like they were late for something. Then came Jenny. She spotted my car, did a double take, and sprinted into the courthouse in heels. That's when I knew whatever was coming. It wasn't just bad, it was nuclear. Walking into that courtroom felt like walking into my own execution, only I had no clue what I was being charged with. So there I was, sitting in this polished, too-quiet courtroom that looked like a set from a legal drama. Ron sat beside me, flipping through papers like he was defusing a bomb. The room was dead silent. That thick, weighty silence before everything detonates. And then the door opened. Emily walked in wearing white, this innocent, pure, "I'm the victim here" kind of dress, like she was auditioning for a saint. But that wasn't what knocked the wind out of me. She was holding my brother Ryan's hand. Yeah, holding hands in court in front of everyone in front of me. I couldn't process it. My brain just shut down all the strange pieces. The family weirdness. Sarah's guilt. Ryan going MIA. They all clicked. The late work nights, the just helping her through things excuses. Ron grabbed my arm. I hadn't even noticed I was halfway out of my seat. He leaned over and whispered, "Sit down, let them dig their own grave." So I sat and watched as Emily and Ryan took their seats across from me, next to their lawyer, a kid who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Like a vegan dropped into a Texas barbecue, Ryan wouldn't even look at me. Emily, though she kept sneaking, glances my way like she was checking to see if I was about to snap. Then the judge walked in, older guy, heavy face, the kind that's clearly seen every type of human mess unfold in his courtroom. And just like that, the circus began. Emily's lawyer kicked things off with this speech straight out of a bad rom-com. He talked about how love always finds a way and how Emily and Ryan never meant to hurt anyone, but you can't control who you fall in love with. I sat there genuinely wondering if I was having a stroke. My brother walked into court holding hands with my wife, and their lawyer was trying to frame it like some epic forbidden love story. Then Emily started in crying, full-on dramatic tears. She talked about how lost and confused she felt during our marriage, how Ryan was just trying to help her through a hard time. And then things just happened, like they accidentally tripped and landed naked in hotel beds, multiple times in different parts of town over several months. And then the kicker. Their lawyer argued that the prenup should be thrown out. Why? Because of emotional distress and complex family dynamics. Basically, since Ryan is his brother, none of the usual rules should apply. I looked over at Ron, my lawyer, and he had this calm little smirk on his face. He stood up slowly, adjusted his tie like he had all the time in the world, and said, "Your Honor, before we proceed, I'd like to present some evidence of how this love story really unfolded." Then he pulled out this binder I'd never seen before, thick, heavy, a damn novel's worth of receipts, and he went page by page screenshots of text from Emily's not-so-secret burner phone hotel receipts paid from our joint account, photos of them together, before Emily and I had even separated bank statements, showing Ryan helped Emily move money around, and then the real hammer. A full timeline of their affair. Turns out they've been sleeping together since Christmas, and they'd made plans, actual plans, to wait until after the divorce to go public with their relationship and spin it like something brand new. The judge's face got more and more stone cold with every document Ron laid out. Then came the emails, Emily and Ryan planning exactly how to break the news, timing everything, manipulating everyone. Ryan finally looked at me, tried to throw me one of those pathetic "sorry bro" expressions. I just stared him down until he looked away. Emily was in full-on meltdown mode by that point. Ugly, crying mascara streaked down her face like a tragic painting. But the judge wasn't moved. Not even a little. Instead, he started pressing them with direct, brutal questions about the timeline, the money, the glaring holes in their story, and every answer they gave just made things worse. Then came the moment the judge leaned forward, looked them both dead in the eye, and said, "This court does not look kindly upon deliberate deception." Just like that, boom, the prenup stood all their scheming, all their carefully choreographed lies. The entire love story they thought they were going to sell. The court destroyed in under 2 minutes. The legal part was over, but apparently my family missed the memo that I wanted nothing to do with them. About a week later, my mom kicked off what I can only describe as a full-blown text campaign to bring the family back together, like a backyard barbecue was going to erase the fact that my brother was sleeping with my wife. It started with gentle nudges: "We miss you, honey." Then it escalated: "Family is forever, and we need to move past this." The final straw, she sent out a group text announcing a family dinner at 6 Kwanzas. "Everyone will be there. We're going to work this out." No question, no invitation, just a command. I ignored it at first. Then Jenny called me full on. Crying, not just sniffles, sobbing. "Please come. Please, Mom is falling apart. She thinks if we all just sit down and eat together, everything will magically go back to normal." I actually laughed. "Normal? What part of this is remotely normal?" I know, she said. "But maybe we should try for her. Is Ryan going to be there?" Silence. Is he bringing Emily? More silence. Yeah, thought so. Something snapped in me. Maybe it was the bourbon. Maybe it was weeks of rage bubbling up. But I decided I'd go, not to make peace. I wanted to watch them squirm. I showed up right on time. Everyone was already there, sitting in the living room, like it was just another Sunday dinner. Ryan and Emily were on the couch. Mom was fluttering around with appetizers. Dad was pretending to watch golf like nothing was off. Jenny saw my face and immediately poured me a drink. Mom beamed, trying to play hostess honey. We saved your usual seat. My usual seat right between Dad and Ryan. Yeah, no thanks, I stayed standing. The silence was suffocating. Then Ryan, in all his tone-deaf glory, actually tried to make small talk. Hey bro, how's work? I didn't even look at him. Was he seriously asking me about work? Like he hadn't just blown my entire life to pieces. Mom jumped in. I'll sing song. Ong, let's eat. I made your favorite lasagna. We moved to the dining room. She had the place set like it was Thanksgiving. Best china, fancy napkins, candles. Like a beautiful table's cape was. Gonna make betrayal easier to digest. Dad even tried to say grace. He actually thanked God for bringing the family back together. I nearly choked, trying not to laugh the first 10 minutes. Pure tension, forks scraping against plates. No one making eye contact. Then Mom launched into her big speech. Rehearsed, polished. We're a family, families. Forgive families. Heal what happened. Was unfortunate, but Ryan and Emily, they're in love, real, true love. Sometimes these things accidentally happen. I cut her off these things. What, Mom? So my wife accidentally cheated on her husband, got naked, and fell 3 stories down on a naked idiot named Ryan. And as they fell, the earth started to shake. And then Ryan just accidentally screwed my wife. That was the first time Dad spoke all night. He barked. Watch your language. I turned to him. Oh, is that more offensive than my brother and my wife banging each other? And in process, betraying your son. Am I really your son? Emily started crying again. Of course Ryan put his arm around her like this. Was some sad indie movie. I had to fight the urge to throw up on Mom's perfectly plated lasagna. Then Mom dropped it. They're getting married. She said like, that was supposed to fix everything in June. We'd love for you to be there. I actually laughed. Loud. And do. What, congratulate my brother for getting married to a woman I just divorced, for cheating on me. You're insane. Truly. Insane. She doubled down. It would mean a lot to your brother. I stood up so fast my chair hit the floor. My brother. You mean the same guy who was screwing my wife while I was taking care of Dad during his cancer scare. Silence. Dead, brutal silence. Dad turned to Ryan slowly, like he was seeing him clearly for the first time. You were during my treatments, Ryan started, stammering. It wasn't. We didn't. I pulled out my phone, opened the folder Ron had given me, and started swiping through the evidence like it was a slideshow of betrayal security cam footage. Ryan sneaking into my house, Emily letting him in, timestamps. That told the whole damn story. This one's from Dad's first chemo appointment. I said, remember Ryan? You told us you couldn't make it to the hospital because of work. Well, that work was drilling my wife. Mom was crying now. Dad still staring at his plate, unmoving. Jenny looked like she wished the ground would swallow her. And here's Christmas Eve. I added, swiping again. You said you were stuck at the airport. But guess what? Looks like my bed was more comfortable than those airport chairs, huh? Emily got up and ran from the table, sobbing. Ryan followed her. Mom was in full meltdown mode now. And Dad. He finally looked at me, his voice hollow. Son, we didn't know. I stared back. Didn't know or didn't want to know. We're lying. Now I don't give a. Then I stood come. Now I surprised even myself. Thanks for dinner. Mom. The lasagna was great. I walked to the door, paused, looked back at Ryan. Oh, and Ryan, since Emily has a thing for her brother-in-laws, you might want to keep her away from me. Who knows, she might even be interested in me again. And I won't hesitate to bang her again. But I will let you know for sure the look on his face better than any revenge I could have planned. I got in my car and drove straight to Sarah, still wearing my dinner clothes, still smelling like lasagna. And regret, she opened the door, took one look at me and just knew no questions, no speeches, no fixing. She just wrapped her arms around me and pulled me inside. She poured me a drink, and we sat on her tiny balcony for hours. Her apartment may be small, but the view incredible. We talked about everything, not just the Ryan and Emily disaster, But real things, dreams we put on hold. Places we still wanted to see while we both kept trying olives, even though we hated them. Like maybe our taste buds would suddenly change one day. At one point Sarah looked at me and said, "You know what the worst part was watching? Her throw away someone who actually gave a damn. Do you know how rare that is?" And yeah, that hit me because I did care. Still, do I guess not about Emily. She can choke on her wedding cake for all I care, but about doing it right, about being the kind of person who actually shows up, who tries, who doesn't quit when things get complicated. The next few days, Sarah and I spent more time together. We didn't rush anything. We just talked, watched bad movies, took the dogs to this little park she likes. We started building something real. No drama, no lies. Just two people figuring it out. It's been 4 months since that courtroom showdown, and a lot has changed. Dad left. Mom turns out watching your wife defend the son who cheated during your chemo treatments is enough to make a man pack a bag. He's got a place across town now. Started going to therapy. We get coffee. Sometimes it's awkward. Yeah, but we're trying. Jenny talks to me again. She's apologized more times than I can count for not telling me about the affair, said she was scared it would break the family. I get it. Now doesn't make it right. But fear makes people do stupid things. Mom still sends those family is everything texts. I deleted them at first, but now every time she sends me such message, I send her a video of 2 dogs having sex. She told me Ryan and Emily postponed their wedding just in case I changed my mind. So I changed my number, ran into them once. At the grocery store, Ryan looked like he wanted to say something. Emily suddenly got very focused on organic tomatoes. I just rolled by with my cart, grabbed my stuff and left, didn't feel a thing, and honestly, that's progress. Emily and Ryan eventually broke up. I always knew it wouldn't last, but I figured she'd at least keep up the illusion a little longer. Turns out I gave her too much credit. Ryan came home early one night. Some work event got canceled and walked in to find Emily very much not alone. Her boss was there, and not in a just reviewing spreadsheets kind of way. Her boss was buried deep, that what I would call it from what I heard. Ryan lost. It put the guy through a glass coffee table, smashed his face, broke a few bones, kicked him in the groin, multiple times, even pushed Emily to the ground, smashed up half the apartment. Someone called the cops. He got cuffed right there, shirt-torn knuckles bleeding, still screaming something about betrayal. It made primetime news. I'm not even kidding. Primetime turns out when the golden child loses his mind in a luxury condo and beats up a corporate executive. People pay attention, especially when the executive needs hospitalization, and Emily's crying on the balcony in some silk robe, like she's the victim. Suddenly she was famous, not for anything good. Of course, news channels dug in, and within a week there were full exposés on the double life of Emily Carr. A couple of stations reached out to me for comment. I agreed anonymously, even sent them a few clips, courtesy of the home security footage Ron had given me months ago. No regrets watching that edited segment on the evening news with Ryan and Emily's names trending. Let's just say the lasagna tasted better that night. Ryan was bailed out by Mom, of course, always there to clean up his mess. The boss eventually dropped the charges and moved out of state, probably to escape the embarrassment more than anything else. Or maybe pressure from his company, so somehow Ryan avoided jail time a few days later. He posted some cryptic photo on Instagram, just a black screen with the caption, "I forgot blood is thicker than wood. I paid the price. I saw it, smiled, and kept scrolling. I've got better things in life now. The dogs adore Sarah." Butcher, who usually takes forever to warm up to people, started bringing her his favorite toy. The third time she came over, Hunter basically lives in her lapdogs, just no good people. Sarah and I made it official last month. We took it slow, did it right. Our first real date was at this tiny ramen shop. We got horribly lost trying to find. It ended up laughing in the rain for 20 minutes. It was perfect. I got promoted at work, moved into a new apartment. No cameras, no ghosts started playing. Guitar again? I'm rusty. But Sarah says she likes it. The other night I was making dinner while Sarah sat at the counter telling me about her day. Butcher and Hunter were at her feet angling for scraps. And I just had this moment, this click inside me. This is what happiness feels like. Not that filtered, performative kind I had with Emily, but real messy, quiet, beautiful happiness. Do I still get angry sometimes? Sure. Do I miss my old life? Not even close. Last week, Sarah found an old photo of Emily and me buried in a drawer. She held it up and asked if I wanted to toss it. I looked at it. Us, smiling at some family party. Probably Ryan behind the camera, and felt nothing, no pain, no rage. Just nothing. I threw it in the trash and went back to making dinner. Sarah put on music. The dogs flopped around, begging for food, just a regular night. And you know what? Normal is pretty damn amazing. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.